Guild Wars Reforged is not a sequel, remake, or remaster. It's an update, but a pretty significant one, and it hopes to bring Guild Wars to the modern era and make it more accessible to a new audience. Reforged doesn't bring new content, but that wasn't really the intent. See, a couple of the folks at 2 Weeks were OG ArenaNet staff, and they wanted to do something involving Guild Wars 1, which has pretty much been in maintenance mode for the last several years. And some devs at ArenaNet were also wanting to do something with Guild Wars 1 following the success of the recent 20th anniversary event. So here we are. First is a complete restructuring in how Guild Wars content is packaged and sold. Now, the core game, factions, and Nightfall are all sold as one purchase for $20, with Eye of the North being sold separately at pricing still TBD as of the time of this recording. Oh, and if you've ever purchased any of the original 3 campaigns, you'll get the whole pack automatically. Reforged also received some engine updates to better take advantage of modern GPUs and provide higher quality visuals while also adding positional audio support to make the game feel a little more immersive. It'll also work great on high resolution or high DPI displays, but the big news is that Reforged will finally feature full standard controller support. You'll no longer need a third-party application to overlay, and the UI will now show controller glyphs for icons and skills instead of just key bindings. To make the interface easier to use, Reforged includes some simple mouse emulation via joystick, and it kind of snaps to certain interface elements to make it feel a little more natural when using a controller to navigate. ArenaNet was nice enough to give me a chance to try out Reforged, and the footage you've been seeing is me running it on my desktop with the Stadia controller. But without needing a keyboard and mouse, that makes Guild Wars Reforged an obvious candidate for something like the Steam Deck. So it's lucky that Reforged is also pending Steam Deck verified status. That means it's a one-click, zero-config install on a Steam Deck, and it should also work on basically any Steam device, including the upcoming Steam Machine and maybe even the Frame when those hit the market. Guild Wars Reforged is only $20 with no monthly sub, and that bundles Prophecies, Factions, and Nightfall together. And if you do already own Guild Wars 1 and you don't want to double dip again on Steam and start a second account, you're not out of luck either. The vanilla launcher version is still transitioning to Reforged. It just means you need to install it the old-fashioned way instead of going through Steam. But it's still pretty easy to do on the Steam Deck, and you can still add it to your Steam library. First, hit the power menu and switch to desktop mode. Assuming you don't already have it, open Discover and download Lutris. You can use other game launchers too, like Bottles or Heroic, but Lutris is especially easy because it can install Guild Wars 1 and 2 without even leaving the app. Just click the plus button in the top left, then click the first option to search for a game installer. Search for Guild Wars, and then just follow the on-screen instructions to install it. When it's done, Lutris creates a shortcut for your launcher. To make it easier to launch, just right-click on it and hit Add to Steam. Then it'll appear in your Steam library just like any other game, and you can launch it from there. Can we do it? With controller support, Reforged is great for couch gaming, and it runs perfectly fine on the Steam Deck, even with maxed out settings. After spending some time with Guild Wars 1 with a controller, I can absolutely see myself pulling it out to play whenever I have some downtime. Reforged makes a few other changes to make the experience better with a controller too. We can have a quest log HUD that can stay up without needing the actual window open for starters, and as I mentioned earlier, you can navigate mouse menus with an analog stick and it snaps to certain elements to make it a little bit nicer to use. And finally, after 20 years, the client can save your password. I don't think I've seriously played Guild Wars 1 since high school, but despite how different it is from Guild Wars 2, it's an incredible game, and I still have a lot of fond memories of it, and it's packed full of lore that strengthens the sequel too. If you've never played the OG Guild Wars, there's never been a better time to try it out. If you play Guild Wars 2 using a Steam account, purchasing Reforged on Steam will allow these accounts to link, which wasn't previously possible. But if you have a choice, try to keep everything either all ArenaNet or all Steam. But I want to know your thoughts. Have you played Guild Wars 1, or are you jonesing for controller support or Steam Deck support for Guild Wars 2? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. Say hi if you see me in Tyria, past or present, and as always, thanks for watching.